From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Well, everyone, happy Tuesday morning. Welcome to the month of February, or as I like to call it, the month of love, right? So, a few things going on for the month of February. It's Black History. It's Black History Month. So, let's go out, go catch a lecture, do whatever you got. We're 13 days from Valentine's Day. And I just want to remind everyone, we're 13 days from Valentine's Day. So start planning now, right? Book your dinner this week, folks. Order your flowers this week, folks. Get the chocolates this week. Go buy a present this week. Don't leave it to the last minute. I just find it a duty and a responsibility to remind y'all that our world is not only around cybersecurity, it's around so much more. We've got a packed show today. We're going to be talking about the Ubiquiti Log4j exploit that was just been released. CISA is updating their must-patch list. Iran and North Korea are on the cyber rise all over again. We've gone a few years without hearing about them, but they're back. We'll also be talking about some geopolitical stuff going on between Iran and Turkey and what's going on in that part of the world. This is significant for a lot of different reasons. Before we do that, though, today's show is supported by our friends over at KnowBe4, so please make sure to check them out. You can see more about KnowBe4 in the show notes. Some really exciting stuff going on over there, so make sure to check them out as well. Also, let's get to some shout-outs. Scott, good morning. Eddie and Gary from Dallas, good morning to both of y'all. Good morning to Paul, Marcia, Corey, and Micah. It's about to go down. That is right, good sir. It is about to go down. All right. So without further ado, let's get into today's show. But before we do that, my traditional, amazing, delicious, always super hot double espresso. What are you drinking? Enjoy it. Coffee cup cheers. And now that we're ready, folks, let's get right into our first story today, where threat actors are now targeting a Ubiquiti network appliance that's using Log4j as part of its entire system. So this was the first active exploit was seen on January 20th. For those who don't know, Ubiquiti, huge network appliance maker globally. The attackers used a proof of concept exploit that was previously shared on GitHub. It developed the Sprocket security. The POC adapts the Log4Shell exploit in the Log4j Java library to work on the Ubiquiti unified devices, complete with post exploitation steps. So when you post this kind of stuff out, folks, chances are someone is going to come and take advantage of it. So developed by Ubiquiti, which is one of the largest hardware vendors in the world, the unified software can be installed on Linux and Windows servers, and it allows networks admin to manage Ubiquiti wireless and networking equipment from a centralized web-based application. The application itself was built using Java and utilized the Log4j library for its logging capabilities and was listed as impacted by the Log4Shell having received a patch on December 10th, just a day after the Log4Shell news became public. However, attacks are ramping up as people have not necessarily patched that one as well. The command and control server that was previously seen using the SolarWinds Serve U attack is being used for this one as well. So we can assume that it's the same threat actor. And again, I say assume. In the world of our adversaries, they tend to share resources a lot better than we do in most cases. So for this is starting to ramp up, folks. So please make sure you get your stuff patched up, including your VMware Horizon, your VMware vCenter, your Zyxel routers, your SolarWinds ServeView, and Mobile Iron has escaped an attack despite a public POC so far until now. So get that taken care of. CISA also this week announced the addition of 8 more vulnerabilities to the list of security flaws known to be exploited in malicious attacks. So the last release was in November of 2021. Which now the list has over 350 entries. On Monday, CISA expanded the list with both new and old security issues, including vulnerabilities recently patched in Apple iOS and SonicWall SMA 100 appliances. The SonicWall Secure Mobile Access 100 appliance vulnerability, which is tracked as CVE 2021-200 38 was patched in December, but it's still described as a critical vulnerability with a 9.8 CVSS score. There's been one POC exploit that was publicly available when the patch was released. The remaining 6 vulnerabilities that CISA added to the list this week include flaws affecting the GNU Bash, Microsoft Windows Internet Explorer, GrandStream UCM 6200, and Intel AMT, SBT, and standard manageability have all been added to this list by CISA as a must patch. So get that taken care of. Before we do that, folks, let's Dr. Cunningham, what's happening? Howdy to you. Hello to Mr. David B. Gary asks, is the Ubiquiti Dream Machine WLAN appliance controller vulnerable as well as the software controller software on Linux and Windows? Matt Lee has already answered with yes, but the answer is a solid yes. Good morning, Anthony. Thank you for being here. Good sir. Let's talk about this one. So the MuddyWater hacking group is targeting Turkey in a brand new campaign. Wait a minute. These two are allies and have been for quite some time, which is why this is fascinating. So the Iranian-backed APT MuddyWater is now conducting new malicious campaigns targeting private Turkish organizations and government institutions. The Cyber Espionage Group, which is linked to the Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security by Cyber Command, the hacking group has attributed attacks to such entities in Central and Southwest Asia and numerous public and private held organizations in Europe, Asia, and North America, and telecom, and so many others. A new report by Cisco Talis linked MuddyWater to recent attacks targeting Turkish private organization and government agencies. The attacks start with spear phishing that uses files with Turkish language names and pretend to come from the country's health or interior ministry. As part of the attack, the MuddyWater threat actor uses 2 infection chains that begin with delivering a PDF file. In the first case, the PDF features an embedded button that fetches an XLS file upon clicking it. Those files are typical XLS documents that carry malicious VBA macros, which initiate the infection process and establish persistence by creating a new registry key. On the same stage, a VBS script is fetched with a PowerShell downloader and executes through a living off-the-land DLL to evade detection, retrieving the primary payload from the C2. The second infection chain uses an exe file instead of an XLS, but it still employs the same PowerShell downloader and the intermediate VBS scripts and adds a new registry as well for persistence. It's also using canary tokens to track code execution and any subsequent infections on neighboring systems. Why is Iran targeting Turkey? Very interesting. Why are 2 previous sort of allies, Erdogan, the president of Turkey, has been an outspoken defender of the Iranian regime for so long. Why is he now turning around? Well, folks, it all goes back to money. And the Turkish economy is in shambles. Their currency is worth nothing. If you think we have an inflation problem in the US, you have not seen the inflation problem that's going on in Turkey. You see all the TikTok videos of all the street food. Those are all great and they're magnificent, but there's a lot more there. The Turkish economy is on the verge of collapse. Erdogan has a ton of people that want to see him gone. And right now he needs to cozy up to his European and Western allies in order to invest in Turkey and help save the economy. Otherwise, he could be staring down a very, very dark path. And Iran, knowing that, is now trying to take advantage of it and further weaken the Turkish economy as well as gain access. Turkey has been a really big country for Iran from a monetary perspective. A lot of Iranians travel to Turkey in order to do business, and that's how they've been able to evade some sanctions. So now we're seeing this all maybe come back to halt, and we'll see what happens there. But Iranian hackers are not done yet. They're using a new PowerShell backdoor in the cyber espionage campaigns as well. This one is attributed to Charming Kitten, and it's a backdoor evasive PowerShell execution. It runs in the context of a .NET application, thus not launching the PowerShell.exe, which enables it to evade security products, according to Daniel Frank at CyberReason. The toolset analyzed includes extremely modular, multi-staged malware that decrypts and deploys additional payloads. The threat actor, which is active since at least 2017, has been behind a bunch of series of campaigns. But according to CyberReason, This constitutes an entirely new toolset that encompasses the powerless backdoor, which is capable of downloading and executing additional modules such as browser info stealer and a keylogger, and it creates a greater threat for many organizations. Cybereason does have kind of the TTPs of this. What I would do is I would go and get those TTPs. I would probably set up more blocking and tackling of their IOCs and TTPs, as well as better threat hunting for if you've got people doing threat hunting, then you give them that. They can go and do that threat hunting. Additionally, if you're using a software, you can tag some of those IPs, domains, and command and control servers in order to really identify if you're a victim of this specific attack. So we'll keep that in mind. The WhiteTurf hacking group is borrowing techniques from multiple APTs. The WhiteTurf, which is an adversary that hasn't been attributed to a specific geography, although it's been active since 2017. As part of an attack identified in January of 2021, the group registered the subdomain mail.mod.gov.cuv.rs to publish the login credentials for the Serbian Ministry of Defense employees. The phishing domain has a TLS certificate using the term cuv, which spoofs the word gov, and that's a popular kind of technique typically used by Russians. The adversary was also observed abusing the open source project Open Hardware Monitor for payload execution. So keep your eyes out for these guys. And finally, North Korea. North Korea is abusing the Windows Update client in attacks on the defense industry. This one goes directly to Lazarus, who's been observed abusing the Windows Update client for the execution of malicious code during a campaign this month, according to Malwarebytes. These guys have been around forever and a day. So as part of the first of the observed attacks, malicious macros embedded within a Word document are executed to perform various injections and to achieve persistence. Then the code hijacks the control flow to execute code in memory. The threat actor has employed a sophisticated code execution process that involves modifying various functions to ensure successful DLL injection into the explorer.exe process. So you want to keep your eyes out on that. The certificate is issued to Samuyaj Limited, so that is something to keep your eyes out for as well within your forensics. And then it does the command and control communication. What more to malware uses GitHub as their CNC, and Malwarebytes says this is the first time Lazarus has used the code hosting platform in such a way. Probably the first and last. GitHub will take it down, start blocking it, and so goes GitHub. The second document in the campaign was observed dropping a totally different malware as part of the infection chain that also involves the hijacking of the control flow, along with a similar injection technique used by the shellcode. This document, however, abuses the mshta.exe process. So keep your eyes out for that. The document is created by this actor, are well designed and contain a large icon of known companies like Lockheed, British Aerospace Systems, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, among many, many more. So you've got it, folks. So a lot of things going on here in the comments, but thank you for Dr. Cunningham for pointing this out. 11,336 vulnerable Ubiquiti devices on Shodan as of right now in the US alone, 53,000 globally. Go get your Ubiquiti patched. Please, 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 thank you for sharing that, by the way. Because the Russians are putting Iranian IPs in the logs. Yes, China did the same, by the way. China used Iranian and Farsi encode on attacks on Israel. So it's been known to come through. That's why attribution is so difficult in cyber. I used to think it might be a little bit easier. Thank you, Christoph, Best Morning Show News. Thank you so much, buddy. I really do appreciate it. Folks, that's it for our program today. We'll be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. with a lot more on what's going on. Keep your eyes out for these TTPs. It's really critical that when we talk about geopolitical stuff, how does your organization is positioned from a geopolitical perspective? Things are heating up all over. Do you use contractors in different parts of the world? Do you have staff in different parts of the world? Could they be of impact to stuff that's going on, especially with what's going on between Russia and the Ukraine, Turkey and Iran, China and Taiwan? Keep your eyes out for all of that and so much more. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, go check out CyberHubPodcast.com for all the latest, including the brand new Breaking into Cybersecurity live stream that was on Friday with the fundraiser. Renee had Chris Roberts, Christoph. A lot of people were on there. Go and check it out, as well as check out the Can I Trust Zero Trust, my conversation with John Giglio over at SADA, as we talked about Zero Trust and a lot more. Until then, have a great rest of your day and stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.